Well, some news coming in this morning, a bit of breaking news, is that President Jacob Zuma has now officially appealed the ruling that invalidated Shaun Abrahams' appointment, this being signed. The grounds that he's saying is that the court is wrong, he says, for putting all his powers regarding the NDP or NDPP in the hands of the Deputy President. He says it is not constitutionally permissible for South Africa to have two presidents. So that appeal has now formally been launched. We've got Professor Susan Booysen in studio. What do you make of this? I mean, this is a new development that's coming through.
Those are words, with apology, of a compromised president. These measures, additional powers being given to a Chief Justice or Deputy President, are exactly because he is deemed and seen and widely seen. If we look at so many different public opinion polls in South Africa, he's widely seen as not exercising his power with due discretion. Yeah. And so he cannot be the referee and the player. And that is, unfortunately, not as simple as being two presidents. Is a president trying to rule about his own legal fortunes with state funds in cases where he is clearly compromised. Yeah. So it is much more untenable to have a compromised president in place.
Yeah. I mean, this is also, again, talking perhaps with relations between the Deputy President and the President, Cyril Ramaphosa and Jacob Zuma. Let's talk about the relationship between the two of them, because, I mean, as he's saying, you know, you can't have two presidents in a country. I am the President. I will appoint the National Director of Public Prosecutions, not the Deputy. Now, there's a great possibility that Cyril Ramaphosa may be, this weekend, the President of the ANC. Where does that leave President Jacob Zuma?
You know, should the Cyril scenario work out and he ascend as a new president of the ANC, I think President Jacob Zuma would be in dire straits. He should have been, actually, for a long time, given that he has really used massive state funds to sponsor his legal appeals upon legal appeals. Jacob Zuma came into power as ANC president almost exactly a decade ago. He almost did not make it at the time, and this political solution was offered because he had 783 arms deal related charges pending against him, and those were scrapped at the time. So a decade of time later, that is still such a prime issue. And Cyril Ramaphosa was not actually supposed to be the Deputy President of the ANC and then slipping into Deputy President of the country if it had depended on Jacob Zuma's wishes. We know 5 years ago at the Mangaung conference, Kgalema Motlanthe, in a last deal set of negotiations at the conference, was actually offered to be Jacob Zuma's running, as he Motlanthe only got about 25% of the national vote there eventually. But he was offered to come in on the Zuma slate before that actual vote took place. He refused that. And then they had to find the
replacement.
And there was Cyril Ramaphosa. And he was never well liked in the Zuma camp, but he was tolerated. And Ramaphosa played a very shrewd game in the last 5 years. That also compromised him in some way, because in many respects he had to be silent about many other Zuma issues. Being in the ANC organization, in the NEC, he could not always speak out. And for him to get as far as he has been getting in the leadership race, he depended on turning around many of those strongly Zuma supporters in the ANC structures, including in the NEC. And now today he is there where he is in with a serious chance. It's really a race that's to the wire between him and Dlamini Zuma, where he is in a chance of being that. And if he succeeds, I think there will be immense pressure on Ramaphosa to institute action to get rid of Zuma as president.
Okay. Very quickly, on the other side, if Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma comes in, do you think she will be as hard on President Jacob Zuma?
I don't think she will be nearly as hard. Okay. I think she will put so many measures in place, the style we have seen now, to maintain Jacob Zuma there, because she depends on him. He has got widely entrenched power in the state and in the party, and she depends on him and his followers to keep her in power.
Now, finally, and I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. I hope I've even got 30 seconds to give it to you. The fact that we are in such a close race. What does that mean for this ruling party? Because are these two factions going to work together, or is this the beginning of a breakaway faction, whichever way the vote turns?
I do not see the two working together in the long term. To save face and so on, strategically they could cooperate for some time, but there are such intractable differences between the two. I cannot see the two of them coexisting. Either the one would have to just subdue itself and be ruled by the other, or they would have to exit, and we can see another split away party. Of course, if that happens, the ANC is almost certain to slip below 50% come a 2019 election. If there is a split away party, that one could very well hold the balance of power between the ANC and the opposition parties. And should the ANC old ANC could very well depend on a new party to maintain it in power. That would mean a split away party would have much more power in being a political party as it would have had as an internal faction of the ANC.
All right, Professor Susan Booysen, thank you for your analysis, and I know we'll be hearing a lot more from you this coming weekend as the conference kicks off, and that'll be happening on Saturday. Quick break.